Today I will be sharing about Storyblok, Astro, View, and Vercel. It's a technical stack that I'm using in a personal project, and I love it. I think it's gonna be useful for everyone, so I want to share it with you. Let's get started. The goal is to introduce the SAVV stack and its strength. So I'm not going to show too much code, but more like demonstrating the good developer experience that I have while using it. And the agenda, we have the background, why SAVV, some demonstration, conclusion, and then we have question and discussions. So, the background. This is a technical talk, but at the core of it is actually a love story. So this is me and my girlfriend. Her name is Melissa. She lives in Indonesia. We have been good friends for 6 years, but like since the beginning of this year, we started a relationship. And she is an interior designer. So since a year ago, she started her own studio, like building interior designs for clients, and she has an Instagram page, which is pretty cool. But she doesn't have a website yet, so she wants to have a portfolio website where she can showcase her work. And of course, she asked me like, "Oh, do you want to build my website?" And I think this is a good opportunity for me to practice building websites, and also like to show her my love, and as an act of service because we are so far away.
For your work or for her?
No, like for her, like it's this is my labor of love.
Okay.
The website. So yeah, I agreed to it, and then she hired a UI designer from Indonesia. So this is the Figma file. It's a work in progress, but we'll have the landing page. We have a project overview page. We have project detail, and then we have about. So it's not a web app, like the user will not be typing any input and like sending data, but it's more like just traditional websites where you browse things and see images and stuff. So this is still in work in progress, and after looking at this design and also talking to her, I list down some of the requirements. First, it should have CMS, because I sort of want to challenge myself, like what if I make a CMS and then she can like use the CMS to upload the project, change the tags, reorder stuff, and not rely on me as a developer. And then second, it should be SEO friendly, because we want it to that Google can index it.
Yeah.
It should be performant, and then it should have minimal cost to develop and host. And based on these requirements, I was thinking to myself, what should be the tech stack that I'm using? Because I'm accustomed to Nuxt and Vue. But actually, in the Vue conference a few months ago, there's a Storyblok booth, and I was like, oh, what is this Storyblok? It's a CMS. And then I hear a lot about Astro during the talk, and even met like some of the core contributors of Astro. So that was really interesting, and then I went on like a research about Astro, and finally I chose this stack, so the SAVV stack. Why? Storyblok. First, Storyblok is a headless CMS, so it's like imagine like WordPress, the admin panel where you can change the content, you can reorder stuff, the text. But it doesn't know anything but the front end. So it's just like the back end, and then like the front end will have to fetch data via API, return it. So with Storyblok, I don't need to maintain my own backend, database, storage. It's all outsourced to Storyblok. And then it has clean and intuitive UI. Also has a great visual editor where I can preview the front end actually. So even though it's headless CMS, but it can preview. And second thing is Astro, which is a front-end framework, but it is for these marketing websites or like content-focused front-end framework, so not for web apps. And it is static site generation by default. I will explain about static site generation later in the demo further. It ships minimum JavaScript, so it tries to just ship HTML and CSS and images, but less JavaScript as possible. It claimed to be the fastest. It do some benchmark compared to other front end, and it's one of the most important things. It's interesting for me to try because I never worked with Astro. And then, of course, we have Vue. I feel like I don't need to explain this because it's awesome. But actually, when I first hear about Astro, why do we need not a front-end framework? Like we have Vue and Nuxt already, right? But Astro actually still needs this Vue, and I will show it more clearly later in the demo. So Vue is there. And then finally, we have Vercel. It's a front-end hosting platform. It's very easy to configure, like zero config. When I connect it to my Git, it detects that it's Astro repo, and then it just do all the build script, everything, easy setup. And then it's well integrated with GitHub and Storyblok. Also, it has a cool UI. So it's where I'm hosting the website. Right, enough theory, let's demo it. This is the page. It's deployed in Vercel. Right now it's still very simple because I've just been trying with the Astro and also like how it connects with Storyblok. So I only have this homepage with 3 sections: Funda, front end, day. And then I have an about page about Storyblok, Astro, Vue, and Vercel. And how does it look like in the Storyblok? This is the homepage. You can see here it has 3 sections: hero, front end, Funda, front end, day. And if I try to change this and save it, yeah, the visual editor automatically also updates it. And technically, it is quite interesting because it is headless CMS. It should not know what the front end is, because like everything that is in this thing, like the front end, is in my Astro code. But Storyblok and Astro is actually well partnered. Like Storyblok is the official CMS of Astro, and then they thought about this, and so they put an integration that like Storyblok and Astro can work very well, and then it can connect to the front end as well. Technically, I use another deployment to test this one, preview vercel.app, and then it use server-side rendering. So the server-side rendering will take the API from, will get the content from Storyblok, and then that's how the visual editor is. But yeah, as an editor, you don't need to know all the technicality, it just works, so it's nice. And then example, I can drag and drop this first one, and then it will show the order as well. Oh, I should save it first.
So that's editing here, but for it to be in production, you have to press publish and then it will deploy.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So this is editing here, so it is just save, and this visual editor is server-side rendered, so that's why it has the updated content. But the production right now, if I go to home, it is still the old one, because this is static site generation. It means it is only like one HTML, and it's still the old HTML. But once I hit publish, and then my Vercel will start a rebuild just now via the deploy hook. So Storyblok is also well integrated with Vercel, so Storyblok will tell, oh, this is published, and then it will call Vercel to rebuild the whole thing. And so we're building, 14 seconds, and now if we reload this, we have awesome Funda front end. Right? And the nice thing is, so if you see this deployment, the production current, you can see the this file, like what is Astro building, and it is very simple, just an index HTML. Like, yeah, no JavaScript, no script. There is one link to the CSS, and it's just like purely HTML. So this means a very good performance because like there's no JavaScript needed. For example, if you reload this, yeah, you only need this document. So HTML, slug, and favicon. So that's all. But if you only have HTML and CSS, how can you achieve interactive component? Because, for example, you need a JavaScript, right? I'm glad you asked.
What do you mean exactly by interactive component?
Yeah, this is what I mean. So I also have a counter block. Here, I can say I want to start from 10. And then if I save it, it should show in my visual editor this counter thing. So this is what I mean by interactive component.
Yeah.
Like there is a user interaction to it, clicking on it, and then JavaScript will update the DOM to make changes to the HTML. It's not a static HTML, right? And do you feel familiar with this? Who do you think is behind this? Must be Vue.
Evan you.
Evan you.
Evan you,
Yes. So, just for example, I will duplicate this. So, by the way, the UI of Storyblok is pretty nice. Like you have this copy button, and then you can paste it in between here. This is like much better than WordPress, right? Like if you work with WordPress, this is 2023. WordPress is like I don't know. So for example, so right now I have two counter, like 110, like this one 100, and then below here is 10, and I'm going to publish it. Then I should see that it is deploying. Okay, while it is building, let's see the Vue code behind this.
Let me say, I think it's really interesting that you're just validating the developer experience that I was just talking in the morning. The fact that it takes 14 seconds to put something on production.
Yeah.
Of course, we could not do that with Funda as a whole, but like, if each team controlled their own environment, this is the speed that we could put stuff in production.
Yeah, but I also don't know because I only have 2 pages, so it's like super fast, the building. But what I was wondering is if I have 100 page, but I only changed 1 page, will it rebuild the whole thing? So that's still like a question I have in mind, but like for now it's still fine.
I think it will with SSG.
It will always rebuild everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have ourselves to do that, so it's fine. So here you see the section before we have headline, hero, and then we have counter, .astro. This is a Astro SFC, single file component. Like very similar to Vue, you have the script part, the logic part, top, and then you have the templating part, but it is using JSX. And the nice thing is you can also only just import a Vue component, counter.vue, and then use it like just a normal, like how you would in a Vue component. So if I see this counter.vue, this is like just a Vue 3 component. I can even use script setup language TS TypeScript, use the composition API on, if the minus button is clicked, then count minus minus. So this is just a normal Vue component. And the interesting part here is from Astro is this client visible. It's a directive, Astro directive, which let you that only load this JavaScript component when the client has scrolled to make this visible in the viewport. And I'm gonna show you what that means. So reload the page again. At first, you only have here like the HTML and then the CSS and the SVG. And as you scroll down, at this point the red thing is the counter, but like the section is still very big and the component is in the middle, so it's not even in the visible in the viewport. It's using the interaction observer. But once you have that, then it load the JavaScript. And then, and then what happened when you go again to the second counter? It just reuse the same JavaScript, so it doesn't download anything more. And then you can still keep the state separate. Like this one is 14, this one 100. It doesn't conflict with each other, even though it's like the same thing. And this means a very fast, like a very good performance in terms of page speed. So that's the Astro. They call it the island architecture because like this is like an island to them, and then this island is only important or rendered like when you scroll to it.
When you navigate.
Yeah, when you navigate to the island. Wait, I want to show the new build file. So this is after we included the counter to see the before and after. So now we have this Astro island thing, like a custom HTML component. And then we have this script a little bit here, self Astro visible. So this is, yeah, they are using the interaction observer to make it work. Basically, when the user get to Astro island, then it will load the JavaScript. One final thing that I want to show is with this SAVV setup, everything is in our fingertips as a front-end developer. So for example, like I want to, instead of minus minus, I want to do minus equals 2. Let's save it. And then like, for example, the counter, I don't want to be red. I want it to be black. Just gonna commit this, feed, funda demo.
And then like committing live on stage.
I'm pushing, and I'm in the main branch right now, and I already configured my first cell to also listen to the main branch in GitHub. So again, because like pushing to main assumes that you are pushing something to production. That's my definition. So it's it should.
Did you push
trigger.
it or you just committed?
I think you just committed.
Oh, it is syncing. The internet is slow, or
Something needed to go wrong.
of course.
So good, you get the idea.
Yeah, but yeah, it will trigger a build. So back to my, we'll get back to that. Back to my presentation. All of this awesomeness stuff, let's see how much it costs. Storyblok is free for one project per user, so new project, new email, fine. Astro and Vue also free, open source. First Cell is free for personal projects. I have like 4 or 5 already there. Also the Funda recruitment task. It's also in First Cell. The UI design is €80 because the Indonesian designer. And my development, domain is €12 per year. And my development, but I do it for the fun, for the learning, and also like as a love.
So how can you get the cost more down?
Well, I can.
Design it
This
yourself.
is already like fair, like you know, it's already like very very cheap. Wait, why is my
Whoop. Yeah, it failed at the push.
Yeah.
Try again.
It's censored.
Oh, that's fine. So, conclusion. SAVV enables you to build performant websites, content-focused websites, easily, cheaply, and enjoyably. I think right now in 2023, with all of these tools and services, like we as a developer can really build something cool and nice with great developer experience easily, because like the ecosystem is just like very helpful to us, also with open source and everything. And even like SAVV itself, you don't need to use everything, right? For example, like Storyblok, it can be useful for like the marketing department of Funda, like to have a headless CMS, and then we can connect it with our Nux. So the marketing websites, maybe one day like front end will work on that in the Nux, but like they use Storyblok CMS at the back end, so we don't have to maintain our own back end for the CMS. For Astro, for example, if you guys want to make a personal website and doesn't care about CMS, just want to write Markdown, you can also just use Astro, no Storyblok involved. And Vue, of course. And for Cell can host your Vue, your Nux, even a server-side render application as well. So I think these 4 frameworks are really cool. And so let's get SAVV. If you want to get started on this stack, you can check my code in the GitHub. Like I configured all the whole things with the visual editor as well. And if you want to follow the journey of my labor of love, I will be publishing them in tutensors.versal.app. Thank you.
Really nice.
Nice.